What's going on, everyone? I'm Encore. This is Tomorrow Never Comes. And there's some big stuff brewing in the world today. Well, it's been brewing for some time, but really came to the forefront today. If you're not familiar with it, what the news here is that the people in Sri Lanka really showcased what it's like when a public has had enough. All right, I'm going to show some small little clips here of what's going on over there, and it was actually quite shocking to me. I mean, visually it was shocking, but reasoning as to why is not. All right, so let's just go through it. Let's just get into it and really talk about some of the things here. So if we go right here, okay. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this here is the presidential palace here in Sri Lanka. I mean, just look at the public here. Okay, so they're all riled up. The president and all of the government workers have actually fled. They're getting on Navy boats, and there's clips of that too, and just leaving the country. Okay, so here we go. Here it is. They're actually storming the palace. All right, crazy. All right, all in there. Look at that mass. I mean, here's an elderly woman here sitting in one of the main seats here in the parliament. They're doing swan dives here in the presidential palace, in the pool. The people have literally taken over everything. Okay, so here's crazy. This is when the presidential gates were opened or the locks were broken. And people were just busting through. Crazy stuff. Okay, you can see a picture here right in front of the president's palace. Here's actually a video of government officials getting on Navy boats and just kind of taking off. So unbelievable situation going on here. Okay, it's crazy. Absolutely. I mean, these are just images here. All right, and I want to kind of go through some of the things what would lead to something like this. I mean, you've got massive inflation in Sri Lanka, and if you look at the numbers here, all right, they hit a record 54.6% inflation. Food inflation is actually 80%. 80%. You've lost 80% of your purchasing power for food. All right, so think about that: 55% inflation, 80% food. And in the U.S., there's mass panic in the stock market because of 8.6% inflation. Okay, which is actually the highest 12-month period that they've had since 1981. All right, so 8.6%. Now, this is not, 100% accurate the way that they calculate or for the public. It's actually higher than this, but 8.6%. So we're still under 9%. And all kinds of negativity, doom and gloom and recession and things are never going to come up, right? That's kind of how the talk has been. But we've got a country that's got 55%, not 8.6%. They've got 80% food inflation. All right, and it's just mind blowing what has been going on here, and I'll get to some other things here. But you've got the inflation, you've got food shortage, you've got unemployment, you've got corruption, you've got nepotism, you've got they're defaulted on their loans. They've received actually 16 loans in the last 50 years. Where did that money go? This didn't go to the people. Okay, so, and just overall horrendous leadership with no transparency in anything. Okay, so this is just one country. And where am I leading with where am I going with all of this is that we sit here, myself, I'm in Canada, but many people I talk to, especially those who are, against crypto and the idea of crypto, we have cute debates over price volatility. You have cute debates over use cases. But you've got the potential for an asset class to help those who are not in first world countries. All the things that I mentioned for Sri Lanka, especially Bitcoin in the crypto space, can alleviate a lot of that. All right, fully transparent. One Bitcoin in Sri Lanka is the same as one Bitcoin in any other country. Now, sure, maybe they don't have one Bitcoin. Maybe it's 0.001. Maybe even less than that. But that 0.001 is still 0.001 Bitcoin regardless of where they go. And on top of that, they can leave and have their assets in their pocket and actually transfer that and cross borders. There's no permission, there's no censor, there's no corruption with it. This is an opportunity for those who are not in first world countries to be on the same level playing field. All right, and let's even go beyond that. So let's say they didn't default on anything, and let's say you're like, listen, crypto is not valid. It's a religion. I've heard many people say it's a cult, it's a religion. Meanwhile, it's based on math and technology, and it actually is an invention. Okay, but let's say we put that aside, and you're like, forget this. Don't even be in this. You're going to lose your money, all that kind of stuff. You should do what? Well, you should invest in stocks. You should invest in real estate. You should buy businesses. Be an entrepreneur. All those things that we love to talk about here in North America and first world countries. And places that are doing, or people that are doing relatively well. Right? Let's go in here. I want to show something here. So Sri Lanka's exchange rate. Okay? So one Sri Lankan dollar, okay, Sri Lankan rupee, I should say, is 0.0028 US dollars. It's not even 1 cent. It's not even worth that. So what are they going to invest in? Tell me that. First of all, they have no access to stock markets. The general public anywhere else. They just don't have it. Even if they did, they don't make enough to make any investments whatsoever, whether it's the stock market or real estate. So what asset class can they put something in that'll actually appreciate for them? Where can they even get an asset class that they can actually invest in? It's not possible. It really isn't. And it's crazy to me that, I mean, this is Sri Lanka we're talking about, but there's about 1.7 billion people in this world who are unbanked, meaning they don't have a bank account, they don't have access to financial tools, even just the regular ones that we do, like having a bank account, getting a loan, getting a mortgage, any of that kind of stuff, credit cards, nothing. Okay, and we know in this system, which is broken, that if you don't have access to that, you pretty much don't have access to anything, because the banks are middlemen for everything. And while our system is broken, it's still nice to have access to it to get some perks. They don't even have access to a broken system. And this is, again, it's Sri Lanka. Turkey's gone through tremendous inflation and so on and so forth with countries across the globe. And that 1.7 billion is actually a quarter of the world's population. Think about that for a second. A quarter of the world's population does not have access to a bank account, let alone all the other fancy and high-end financial tools that, you know, the big boys, the big players with money have. They don't. So how do they ever break the cycle about being in a bad situation, like forever impoverished? It's not possible. So you want to talk about a use case for Bitcoin specifically. Everyone can hate on this all they want. I've talked to people who even now will hate on it. That's fine. But you cannot point to an asset class that even has remotely a similar potential for those in such a situation. So while we sit here with a roof over our head and maybe we're paying more for it and we're paying more for food and all that, it's not 80%. We're not paying 55% more for everything and 80% more for food. Our currency is not less than a cent of the US dollar. Okay, so this sometimes, even myself, we get caught up in these debates, and the debates happen with people who are in a similar situation where you can forego taking, you know, a quote unquote risk on an asset class such as Bitcoin or crypto in general. You're just like, yeah, no, I stay away from that. Real estate is cash flow. Or I'm in dividend stocks because they provide cash flow. Well, how do these people get it? How do people in their position get access to stocks? Get access to get access to real estate where you can get cash flow? You can't. It's impossible. So we have an asset class that can actually allow them to do that. And when all this stuff is going down in their countries and they want to go because it's not safe or the unrest is there, it's not stable, they can still take their assets and go with them. Try doing that if you move to a country that doesn't, is not favorable for stock, for equities market. Try doing that with your condo or your house or whatever you own as a real estate and you want to move somewhere else. You can't take it with you. And same thing for gold. So it's just certain things like this. And this unrest has actually moved on to other countries, Albania being one of them. And look, by no means am I saying that this protest is for crypto, is because of crypto, or anything like that. That's not the case. All right? But the protest, the outcome of a broken system is what I'm talking about. That broken system itself, there is now an alternative to it. Now that alternative needs to be fleshed out. That alternative needs to grow and mature. Bitcoin itself is perfect as it is. So even if you owned a little bit of it, it would have helped them. Okay? So all I'm saying is next time you have a debate with someone, or next time you think of something, and it's like, crypto's a scam and this and that, really you and I need to think about those who are not in our situation. Those who are not lucky enough to be in our situation. We have, a peaceful protest down the street, and it's big news. And here, an entire president's palace is being taken over, where all government officials have left the country. What's going to happen to the people even after this? Who knows? The new government that comes in, will they do the same? Like, it's tough to change this broken system, because those at the top always make out pretty good, right? 16 loans in 15 years, and now you default and the people are suffering. But you can live in a presidential palace. So that's what I want to touch on today. It's a little heavy one today, heavy topic, because of the things that I did see. But I think it's important we have this perspective. Whether you have done your work and are pro Bitcoin or pro crypto or not, I think sometimes it's just good to take the lens of someone who's not in a first world country. What are their options? What are their alternatives? And if there is something that gives them at least a shot at breaking their cycle of poverty, probably shouldn't be just snickered at and kind of thrown to the side. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you found some value in it. Share, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Leave comments below what you think of this turmoil. Just your general thoughts on this and how we can prevent this outcome, and just your thoughts in general. Would appreciate it. All right, guys, remember, tomorrow never comes. Invest in yourself today. Take action, and I'll see you guys in the next video.